Today we're going to talk about Michael Norman and how fortunate he was to survive that World Championship in 2019, where he took a risk to compete in the semi-final of the 400 meter. And according to Michael Norman, he didn't feel healthy before the race, and he questioned his judgment, and as a result, he went into the race and was not able to perform at his highest potential because of the potential injury. And talking to Michael, I would let him know this, that what you did could have jeopardized your career forever. One of the number one reasons athletes are not able to perform at their highest potential and are forced to retire early. And the videos are saying that if they are to perform at their highest potential, then they must keep their injuries under control. But today, we're going to talk about Michael Norman and the risk that he took when he performed in that semi-final in the World Championship. And I am hoping that young and aspiring athletes who have the talent and have the skills will take the proper precautions before they enter any competition. As I said before, the number one culprit that prevents athletes from achieving their highest potential is unnecessary injuries. One of the things we find with inexperienced medical personnel, that sometimes they give advice that are not accurate. They give the wrong diagnosis, and in most cases they also give the wrong prognosis. And as a result of that, some injuries that could have been prevented end up becoming worse. One of the things I see most of the time when athletes are struggling with an injury is that it affects the relationship between athlete and coach. Because sometimes the athlete genuinely are feeling the pain, genuinely they are hurting. But sometimes the coach just don't believe that they are experiencing the level of pain that they say they are experiencing. And sometimes the athlete want to give more. Sometimes the athlete want to impress the coach. And as a result of that, they may try to endure the pain and eventually make the matter worse. I know for myself, before I used to think that the athlete may have a weak mind because maybe they could push themselves through the aches and the pain, but sometimes it can be genuine, and as a result it may make a simple situation worse. I've seen it on many occasions where the athlete may have a serious injury, but because of poor prognosis and poor diagnosis, this injury is ignored, and over time the athlete would go to a meet and end up pulling a muscle. Now, coaches, you must know and trust your athletes. When your athletes complain that they are not healthy, it is something that you should take very serious. And as I said before, the purpose of this video is to encourage coaches to use the right specialists, the specialists that have the equipment that can diagnose accurately a strain, a pull, a tear, a fracture, and they can tell you exactly the amount of time that it would take for that injury to heal. And why am I saying that? Because you have the MRIs, you have the 3D ultrasound, you have the X-ray, and there are many more equipments out there that can help you to know the same day, within the same hour, the level of injury that the athlete sustained and what they need to do in order to overcome this injury. I can confidently say that if Michael Norman had the right medical team, the right equipment, they could have informed him whether or not to run that semi-final, because they would be able to diagnose the situation accurately and they would have been able to tell him exactly what to do. I've seen it done over and over. So an athlete at Michael Norman's level You must invest in the right medical team. You must have the right people around you that can give you up-to-the-minute information. Because I am sure that if you had up-to-the-minute information that same day, you would have known the amount of effort to put in, because you would have known that maybe it was a slight tear, and the tear would not be something that can totally prevent you from running. You would have known accurately whether or not to take that risk, because what you did could have cost you your career at such a young age. I remember an athlete that I mentored for years, and I remember when the athlete was at the Olympic trials, they complained in the semi-final that they had aches and pain in the hamstring. I remember talking to the coach, and the coach felt as if it was the athlete's mind. The athlete tried to convince us that it was not the mind that was preventing her from performing at her best. And it could have created a major issue with her coach, because he was saying one thing and the athlete was saying the opposite. I remember when the athlete flew home after a couple of days and went to the specialist. The specialist was able to tell her on the spot the level of injury, how long it would take to heal, and what she could do in order to hasten or speed up the recovery time. She had that information within the hour. So what I'm saying to young athletes, and what I'm saying to young coaches, and what I'm saying to experienced coaches, if you care enough, you will make sure that your athletes are protected before they compete. Back in the days, we usually use a finger to examine an injury, but that was back in the days. Today, there is no need to use a finger or a spoon to diagnose an injury. We have the equipment that can immediately inform you the level of injury, the level of inflammation in the body, the extent of the tear or the pull. Today, we have equipment that can tell you exactly how many days it would take to heal if you do a particular thing. Today, we have the equipment that can tell you how much inflammation is in the body and where the inflammation originated from, and how to treat the injury according to what was diagnosed. Today we have the equipment that can tell you the level of tissue or the level of muscle damage and what you can do to reverse the damage done. I'm passionate about this topic because I've seen many talented athletes lose out on fortunes because of injuries. And I've seen many talented athletes' career cut short because they took a risk that was not necessary. I've seen many athletes leave the sport hurting within themselves because they knew they did not give their best effort because of poor decisions. So today I'm encouraging coaches and athletes to take this part of your preparation very serious. Make sure you have experienced medical personnel around you. Make sure you're getting good advice from these specialists. And make sure you are doing everything in your power to prevent the injury and to do what it takes to recover from small nagging injuries, because these small nagging injuries can get worse. I thank you very much for listening. I am Dr. Gregory Horton. Have a blessed day.